Hi, it's me. I'm back and I didn't mean to leave, and there's a surprise cat behind my head. Hi, buddy. And it's a new year, which is actually insane. Welcome back. If you've never been to this little corner of the internet before, this is my personal corner. It's called Indian Stuff. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the show. That sounded super, super, super stupid. So I am just going to jump in. My name's India, and I kind of took a hiatus for a minute. I'm sorry about that. I didn't announce it, didn't plan it, didn't intend on it. It just happened. I was recording podcasts every week and releasing them like normal. And we had a big trip coming up, and I recorded a couple. I just never put them together and posted them. So I do apologize. But after about a month and a half off, we're back, baby. So thrilled to be here. Let's get to it. Okay. First things first, I just had a birthday last week, and I'm officially 29 years old. Ooh, ooh. Which does feel very strange. Not strange having a birthday. I have one every year, but strange to be like saying a number that feels so unfamiliar to myself. I still feel like I'm 23 and fresh out of college and just a young adult for the first time. If anything, I feel more immature, more young and silly, and like my whole world is in front of me. And so it is kind of unfamiliar to be inching to 30 and everyone's expectations and like the world and film and movies and like what you see of 30-year-olds is established career people having children or maybe multiple children at this point, making big businessy moves, having things like 401ks, driving their dream car. And it's just strange to be like, well, I know that stuff's not necessarily for me. It's not really what I want at this moment anyway. But it is weird to be like, am I like double checking? Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I allowed to be doing all this when I'm 29? Like, am I not doing enough? Not doing, things in a certain order? But who cares? I'm 29. It's fun. I'm here. I had a pretty decent birthday. If you didn't know, I'm a Christmas Eve baby. So my mom and I are actually born on the same day. I got to see a friend who lives out of state on the 23rd. And then on the 24th, Ian made delicious handmade homemade crepes. I have loved crepes since Bob Evans had blueberry crepes on their menu when I was a child. They're since gone, discontinued item. But then I fell in love even more when we actually got to have fresh crepes in Paris about a year ago. And I was like, these are so like delicious and actually not that hard to make. So Ian made me those for my birthday, and my siblings came over and we had a great day. So I got to celebrate. We had Christmas and celebrated the new year. My sister stayed with us for a while. So after all that stuff kind of happened, I was like, okay, now I'm thinking about doing the podcast again. I didn't mean to take that much time off, but once, you're in the swing of the holidays, it's hard to kind of like put time aside to just talk to the internet when you're like, no one's going to watch this anyway. Everyone else is with the holidays, like doing stuff with their families and loved ones. So I didn't really do anything. And yeah, I just figured you guys probably needed the break as well. So I just have to apologize because it wasn't intended that I was going to take that much of a break from the podcast. But I do need to confess that something happened over that gap of time. I think one reason why I didn't just itch to like sit in front of the camera and talk to you again over the holidays was also because somewhere in my subconscious, I've been feeling a little disconnected to the podcast. Eek, don't hate me. I still love you, and I'm still very, very grateful for every single one of you who listen and watch and participate and are involved. But I kind of was just reflecting on how I've been doing this for 2 full years, which is actually crazy. And as much as I love it, it has been something that does take a lot of time, believe it or not, even though it sounds like I'm just chatting off of my brain. Sometimes I am. It is still a lot of time to like set up a camera, think of a topic, outline the episode, record everything, edit everything, schedule everything, post about everything. for 2 years. I mean, every week for 2 years pretty much has been what I've been doing. So I was just kind of thinking about all of that and how much, fun it's been, but also how much work it is and how much is on my plate in other realms. And so I think somewhere in the depths of my mind, all of that was like encouraging me to take a little bit of a break until I can find a reason to continue. And I'm not going to lie, for a couple weeks there, I was like, I don't even think it's worth continuing. Now, again, like I'm so grateful for all of you who are here, who do subscribe to this channel, who watch, who listen. Genuinely, I'm not doing this to like be a YouTuber or like say something profound that you've never heard of before on the internet. It started as kind of a way to like document everything going on in our lives and talk about topics that I'm passionate about that I thought deserved a little more of a conversation outside of like a quick Instagram reel or just like a fast text message or something. But now I'm kind of like, as I'm approaching 30, being a little more specific with my time and trying to make sure that like everything I'm spending time on is pushing me closer towards goals and objectives and what I think God's called us to do, which is to create art and to have a presence like on this planet for love and justice and truth and all those good things. So I'm like, as much as I love this podcast, has it been pulling me towards that goal? Does the goal still exist even when it feels like it's kind of like not moving forward in the way I want? I'll give a more specific example. Doing something like a YouTube channel every single week for 2 full years and having the goal of like getting it monetized or hitting 1,000 subscribers. Those are things that I've been wanting for a while. And when those numbers aren't there to back up like the giant amount of time and energy and effort that it takes, it's kind of hard sometimes to go, okay, should I be moving forward or is this a sign that I should be tapping the pause button, But I will say, after thinking about it, after kind of praying about it a little bit, kind of just mulling over in my head what this show is for and what this corner of the internet is for, I decided to keep the podcast. Hello. So I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon, but it is changing. I do want to make some changes because, again, like, if you're not like excited to sit down and have clarity on what you're talking about, it can be hard. And I think that's kind of what happened in November, December. I was having so much fun with this. And then we had a big trip. And then I was just like vlogging the whole trip, by the way. Like, I cannot wait to share, but like vlogging all of that. And then also working with clients in my photography work and also gearing up for a new year with new vision and a whole bunch of goals for Ian and I personally. I was like, okay, but what do I now sit down and tell you about? Do I just talk about clothes that I think are cool in 2026, wedding trends? Like, I feel like there's so many other voices to tell you how to do your hair and what trends to predict in fashion for 2026 that it just doesn't feel like stuff that I'm feeling that excited by. So I want to do something different in this new year, in the season 3 of India and stuff. So that brings me to where I am today, sitting on my bed in our lovely guest bedroom with Appa, who is just slightly off screen, contemplating on what I want this show to be this year. So I don't know I guess if you have thoughts, you're the ones that I'm doing this for. Like, this is less about me and more like for you. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to talk about things and I'm here to live my life and share it on an online platform, which can be always scary. But I'm here to do this for you and to have fun and hopefully bridge that gap. One thing that I've always wanted to do with this is bridge that gap that the internet can make between like, oh, look at this unattainable, seemingly perfect life that I'll never have, or this person that I'll never know. And then you're just an observer. And I've hoped to always make this space transparent and hopefully a little comical, a little entertaining, but also just to make us all feel a little less alone on the world. Because truthfully, as technology's presence increases and our lives get busier, we probably won't get the chance to sit down over coffee anytime soon and have a really in-depth conversation. So if I can provide a little bit of that here and then open a way to chat in the comments and online and interact with each other on these online spaces, then hopefully that can kind of help bridge those gaps and make us feel a little less alone in this online addicted world. So Before I misspeak, I'm going to share just a touch of what is on my mind to like switch things up moving forward in the podcast, starting with the frequency of doing these episodes. Like I said, the show isn't about like, let me see how much money I can make from being a YouTuber. There's plenty of YouTubers out there that can make a lot more like grab and go content that people want. Like if I wanted to make money off of posting videos to the internet, there's a lot of options to make money fast, but that's not really what this is about. At the same time, I haven't made a single dime off of this thing, and I hope that I'm making stuff that's interesting. So I'm just trying to like tailor in, again, that trait of energy and the subject matter to match what I'm capable of doing right now and what you guys are interested in. So with that said, instead of a weekly podcast, I'm going to move it to a first and third Tuesday of the month podcast. So these audio video podcasts that you're listening to right now on Apple, Spotify, Google, and YouTube, if this is what you like the most from me, you will get these twice a month instead of 4 times a month now. So the first and third Tuesday, I did the hands wrong, first and third Tuesday of every month, you'll have these options to listen to. And this will be pretty similar to what we've been doing in the past. The topics might shift a little bit. I'll get into that in a second. But it'll be very similar to this. Your favorite podcast is here to stay, first and third Tuesdays of the month. Now for the YouTube section, I wanted to create more YouTube specific videos, not because YouTube's the best outlet, but because there are some things that I think benefit from just being a video versus like just listening to the audio of me explain a how-to video on how to take a specific type of photo is not going to work as well as actually seeing it be explained with the visuals in front of you. So on the off Tuesdays that I'm not doing a podcast episode, so the first and third are going to be reserved for audio podcasts. The second and fourth Tuesdays are going to be wildcard YouTube videos. So that could be anything from, like I mentioned, a photography how-to video to a topical video about weddings and kind of what my clients are dealing with and planning their own weddings, to something personal that Ian and I are going through, like changing careers or making a film or something like that. So those will be YouTube only, and then the other days will be audio, video, podcast only. All that to say, I'm hoping that will clear up kind of the types of content so that you get a little bit of both. But I would say if you want to just make sure you're getting everything and not missing a beat, I would make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, India and stuff, because that will be where everything will be no matter what. But then you'll only see the 2 podcasts on your favorite audio platforms every month as well. So that was my first announcement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll hold the applause. The other thing I wanted to mention is I was mulling this over with the holiday season, and I do kind of want some more clarity on what the show is moving forward. Like I said, there's a million influencers who can have so much more expertise to share on skincare products, and so many more prominent speakers and theologians and politicians who can talk to you about current events and all these things going on in the world. But these are all things that I still care about. But instead of the widest umbrella possible with the India and stuff last season and the year before, where it was kind of everything under the sun, I really wanted to kind of rein in what these audio episodes are going to be about, specifically focusing around pop culture and faith and how the two intersect as a young adult. Does that make sense? I think my reasoning is like when I'm looking around at the world today, there's so many of my peers and Gen Zers and loved ones in my life that are around my age, like 20s and 30s, who love like pop culture. We love to watch The Bachelor. We love to watch Secret Life of Mormon Wives. We love to watch Stranger Things. We want to hear the new Sabrina Carpenter album. We want to find the latest trendy thing to wear. We, have all these celebrity icons and influencers that we follow. And then we're also getting fed kind of like our grandparents' religion in a post-Christian country, at least here in America, that's double hand-me-down religion. And some people are clinging to it in healthy ways and unhealthy ways. Some people are rejecting it altogether. And other people are just kind of swimming in the middle where, that there'd be someone who might say, I'm spiritual, but not religious, or I'm open-minded, or I'm agnostic or something like that. And all those things are fine. Like you have free will, you can do whatever you want to do. But for me, I'm trying to find voices that I'm drawn to that combined, hey, here's the world we live in. Here's how you can find joy in watching Stranger Things and also be a Christian. Here's how we can shop and wear fun clothes and style outfits that are, exciting and that tell a story, but also do it in a way that's ethical and that brings glory to God and the people who made those items. And it's really hard sometimes. I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of gap people. I'm not seeing a lot of bridge builders. It tends to be in this world, everything is polarized. Like either you're this way or you're that way. Either you're, fully like this sold out evangelical who's in this side of politics and who goes to this kind of thing, who doesn't care about X, Y, and Z, or you're this left-wing kind of, wishy like person who's sort of into this altruistic being up in the sky, but you don't have a strong sense of boundaries or understanding of, I don't know what I'm saying. I think you know what I'm getting at though. Like it seems to be you're either red or you're blue, you're either in or you're out. Everything has to be black or white. And we either love the things of this world and reject God, or we love God and fully can't participate in anything outside of the church or anything going on in culture. And I just think I've always thought those things are not fair and they're not accurate ways of living in our world today. And it's just not realistic, to be honest. Like, I think anyone who just says like everything of the world is trash, we cannot be in the world at all. Like we have to be these beings who are just above it all and holier than thou and keep our eyes on these godly things. And that is the way. Yes, Barbara, but you still have to put on clothes tomorrow. And the clothes you put on will tell a story, whether you realize it or not. And if they were bought off of Shein and made in a sweatshop by a small Bangladesh child for pennies, that will be a story that you are telling. And that will be kind of the unintentional impact that you're making. And I don't know, there's more examples outside of clothes and everything, but I think sometimes we forget that, to be on this planet takes an effort of faith and means something. And some people believe that wholeheartedly, and other people think we're just kind of like vessels of dust, an animal that's just walking around meaninglessly, and we have no purpose other than to selfishly indulge in greedy things. But I think we're made for a little bit more. I think people who are in their 20s and 30s don't have to wander around in the dark, don't have to be restricted by, certain things. And we also don't have to indulge in everything. And I'm hoping that this year on the Indian Stuff show, maybe, possibly, I don't know if it's just too big of a task to feel like I could take on, but maybe we could talk about how we can be in the world and not of it, but also enjoy and be created beings that are enjoying creation, that can watch our silly little rom-coms, and we can engage in culture, and we can listen to music, and we can know what's good for our spirit and our soul and what isn't. And we can use discernment on how something impacts us and how it doesn't. And we can take things to scripture in a way that's not so like this way or that way, but we can be curious about the things of faith and traditions that are, so much older and more distinguished than we can even imagine. I think there's a way we can approach it with curiosity and love and interest, and and not just be so boring. Does that make any sense? Like, maybe that means nothing really changes on this show and we'll still just talk about whatever comes to my mind that week. Maybe. But I'm hoping that we can kind of rein things in, and anything that is happening in pop culture, we can bring it up and talk about maybe a spiritual or a biblical perspective on it, or even just a wise perspective. Like, yes, I'm a Christian and a Christ follower, but I don't think that every single thing has to be like, you're not going to find a Bible verse that says yes, you should buy from this ethical brand only, or yes, you should turn off the TV when the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives show comes on. But you will find wisdom in scripture, and that wisdom, can be shared, whether you share my faith or not, whether you are a Christian or an ex-evangelical or an evangelical or not even of the faith at all. Like, we still have so much that we can talk about and hopefully give a little perspective on that might be a healthy one and might bring some new ideas to your life. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking moving forward. So again, the podcast, the first and third Tuesdays of every month, those will be the topics we're going to be talking on. Pop culture, faith, how it all intersects, especially for the millennial and the Gen Zer. When we're talking on the YouTube shows, it's kind of going to be, again, more of a wild card situation, maybe a recent trip, maybe photography hack or a Lightroom trick or something I'm learning kind of my professional world. Or maybe just something Ian and I are talking through together as a married couple, as an old married couple. So I hope you tag along. If this was your first episode ever listening to the show, I'm sorry. I was kind of on like a rambly, I don't know, chatty mood today, but I really genuinely hope to see you around. I hope that you're here for the year. I hope that it's a fun year. I hope that this is still work that's worthwhile. And I hope that I'm not like boring you, but I don't know. As long as I have ideas in my head, I feel like this is a good platform to share them. Again, I never want this to feel like a one-sided parasocial relationship. I want you to interact. I want to hear from you if you have thoughts or like even topics. If you're like, India, you're talking about pop culture, great. Please tell me what are some ideas or ways I can engage in this show that all these people are talking about that I think is wrong for me to watch as a believer? Or what are some thoughts on this political thing as a Christian that I feel like is messing with my conscience? I want to hear from you. I want to hear about topics you are interested in. I want to hear about, again, like I'm not going to have the right answer for everything or anything even, but I would love to kind of like hear what other people in my age group are struggling with or thinking about or needing some guidance on. And I would love to kind of like add a little food for thought for what it's worth. Maybe I should just call this like food for thought. I feel like that name's probably taken. I'm just going to keep it with Indian stuff because it is still me. This is still about the stuff going on in life, in the world. And I hope it's beneficial to you. I hope it brings a little wisdom and a little joy and a little levity to this very, very interesting world that we live in. So thank you for listening. I will be back very soon with the next episode, the third Tuesday of this month. I'll have another podcast. In the meantime, I'm going to work on editing a vlog for you guys so you can see one of our recent trips. Let me know, again, any topics, any conversations, anything at all. Okay? Anything at all. Let me know what you want to hear more about and we'll go from there. But as for me and my house full of cats, we will be wrapping it up today. So like, subscribe, comment, all the things. Follow on Instagram, India Jade Photo, Indian stuff. This is the first of the year. It's going to be a good year. Okay? It's going to be a good year. Say it with me. It's going to be a good year. I hope. We're already like 4 days in and I'm a little scared. But anyway, thanks guys. Love you. Bye.